The damage is done. We're going to give you 4 tips on how to submit a damage claim. Speed matters when submitting a damage claim. We always recommend trying to get to your property as soon as possible after a guest checks out. We do not recommend waiting a couple of days to go in and see what's going on. Get in there right after, make sure everything looks good. If it doesn't, you want to start to document.
Okay, so but like what constitutes as damage? Because our community reaches out to all the time. They're like, a hand towel is missing. Should I charge the guest? You should not charge the guest for a missing hand towel or a bath towel where they used to dye their hair. It stinks, but at the same time, we're in hospitality, and this is, in my opinion, the cost of doing business. What does count? Exhibit A. A guest brought a cat without our permission, and their cat treated our chair like a cat scratchy tower thing. I don't have cats, so I don't know what that's called. But this we did charge her for. And we took photos. We had receipts when we bought this chair so we could submit it to Airbnb for that claim, or if it was booked via another platform, whether it's direct booking or Vrbo, anything like that. To have the receipt is super helpful, because then you can tell them, here's the cost of replacing this chair. Here's the cost of replacing a like chair. But this, absolutely, this makes our place look kind of not put together, right? But if a guest were to break this, I've got more in our basement.
Preparation and organization is going to be key here. When you turn in that damage claim, it's going to be followed up with an amount of money, and you need to be ready to turn in what that amount of money is. You can't just say, hey, this is what's been damaged. They're going to need to know what you want to be reimbursed for and how much it was. So, Sarah, let's talk about how important it is to keep your receipts organized and or the invoices that you're going to need to turn in.
The way we do it is, whether we're setting up a place for a client or for one of our own properties, is we have a Drive folder, a Google Drive,
yep.
And we have digital pictures of the receipts. If you write a little note at the top of the receipt, because sometimes you read receipts and it's like a whole other language. So write what's on there, upload it to the Drive. Maybe you can do living room, bedroom, bathroom, whatever you want to do. And I would do the higher priced items. You don't have to literally like say this jar cost me $2. Like, you're busy. You got a lot of things going on, so just make sure it's just the big stuff that you'd want to be reimbursed for. If you don't have that, let's say, well, Sarah, that would have been great to know 2 years ago when I set up my property. That's okay. Like that chair we referenced, if you can find a like chair, like what it would cost to replace that chair with something today,
a comparable product.
You can try that. I have done that with the OTAs. Submit the receipt. Here's a chair I want to replace it with, or here's the cost that I would be charged to have the upholstery cleaner come out and do this. Give that information up front. You're going to set yourself up for a nice reimbursement check. All right, so I just took a photo of this. Now what I might do is go into my photo, take a screenshot, and you can see the date and time that I took the photo from my phone. Also, when you take photos on your iPhone, there's information that the phone automatically grabs, date and time. It might even do location. Just so that when you submit a claim to a third party like Airbnb, VRBO, any of these OTAs, you can prove when you found the damage.
If you do have a damage, sometimes there's communication with the guest ahead of time, especially if they're making you aware of it. Sometimes they don't. But we always recommend, if you can, keep all communication inside the app. It's easy for a customer service rep to go back and look at how the communication has gone. So if you can, always keep communication inside the app.
I know what you're thinking. You're so worried that the guest is going to leave you a retaliatory review. But don't worry.
Yeah, fear not. Airbnb will have your back on this. So we hear hosts all the time. They're like so nervous to like be honest or leave the review. This platform is built on trust, and as host, you have to owe it to the future host that's going to host that guest to be honest. So don't worry about a retaliatory review. Customer service Airbnb will have your back on that.
That being said, here's some really quick tips. You will need to submit proof to Airbnb that you believe the review was in retaliation to something that happened in your place. So that is why it's really important to keep communication with your guests in some sort of written word, via the app, via text,
carrier
via
pigeon,
email,
just joking,
carrier pigeon, handwritten letter. Any way that you can say, like, here's what happened, here's the proof that it happened, here's how I try to remedy it with the guest. and now it didn't work out. I just want compensated for this issue. Now the guest's mad. Can you help a sister out?